Good evening, fellow punchers. Mickey D back with you on Friday evening here at about 7:15 with a look at the Champions Day card tomorrow. I started this end of February, and I think every big Saturday meeting I went through it, and I spent a few hours at it this morning. I think, to do us justice for that, I'm not saying that I've many of the winners picked, but I want to give an insight to each of the races, especially for new viewers that has come along that wouldn't have seen me doing the bigger race meetings early in the year. And I've a couple elsewhere as well. Another good day for the passengers of the bus and myself. Started off with El Mubir, slew stop. Drop back and trip was the key to that, as I thought. The ground was grand. I heard someone saying earlier in the day that the ground was heavy, that it would, but he got through it all right anyway. I doubt if he'll be out before the end of the year again. Maybe he will. But want to look forward to next year. I'm sure they'll keep it in training. And then a terrible ride, I thought, from a front runner, Kevin Stas, gave Tartan Chief. I had an each way lucky 15 and each way trebles and things like that, and it got short-headed for fourth. But as a front runner at a mile and a half, I thought he'd be out in front there today at a mile 2, and I thought he'd try and outstay them. He had the toe about a furlong out to keep with them, and yet he stayed on again, that stamina is his forte, and I thought he'd try to use that up today instead of staying back in third. But you'll have that, I suppose. But then the other one in Riccardo Medici, that opened up 14s last night and went out to 16s, and then it went into 10s. I know there was an on-runner. There was 10 Central Rule 4, but he didn't start acting on the surface until he got round the turn for home and headed up the straight. He'll improve for that run on that surface. I say there's a race in him in Dundalk. And then the best wine was kept till last with Finian's Bay, opened up at 7s last night. I think he was into 5s by the time the video went up. But there was a lot of 92 and 5s available last night. The one that was second, actually, I tipped him up a couple of races back. I done a small reverse forecast with the two of them because he had ran in Royal Ascot, and I tipped him up, I think it was 2 runs back when he was second. But a good day all around, a good week. Monday to Friday, and hopefully we have Saturday and Sunday to finish. So any that had a few winners today and during the week, like and subscribe and listen to a few ads, and throw out a few pound at to the palliative care next week. There was a few newcomers on the bus today. Sean McCoy hopped on, and he is the real McCoy. He tipped up a winner, Diamond Vega. He said it's short, but it'll win. We listened, it won. Christina had a winner there today as well. She put it up, I think, yesterday. Then she put it up again. Janice jumped on the bus. I don't know whether it was Janice Joplin or Janice Jackson, or it could be Janice someone else, but Janice is on the bus. Crotley on the bus today, and then late arrival. He said he wasn't a new arrival, but he was a late arrival. Sorka de Facha was back from her holidays out foreign. She had a great tan, and as she wheeled her wheelbarrow up to the bus this morning, the Cork books and the Clare books got together and they sang Molly Malone. She wheeled her wheelbarrow through streets broad and narrow, and the Kerry books had never heard it before because they never go up to Croke Park until the day of the All-Ireland. They never go up the night before like the other books, and they were a bit shocked to hear that the Cork boys and the Clare boys knew a Dublin song. Kerry boys go up the morning of the All-Ireland because they know they'll win it, I reckon. Tony Murray was in great form. He had a box of duty free. He was home from the States. He's home for a couple of weeks, and he said he'd be back tomorrow with one for everyone in the audience, just like Gabe Burton used to do on the Late Late Show. Come on, Tony, hope you have an enjoyable trip. We might bump into each other at some point. I'm a bit short to win the last few days. That's why I was sort of struggling last night as well. That old chest infection hasn't fully cleared up, but we're getting there. I thought I had to call the ambulance last night with it. I got a heartburn from tablets and steroid tablets and whatnot. But tomorrow the first race is the long distance race, 8 declared over 2 miles. Trueshan is going for 3 in a row. Needs cutting the ground. The fact that they're running them tomorrow instead of running them in France next week, where they know they'll have heavy ground, suggests that they're happy enough. He's 2 for 2 at the track. If he runs and said they're happy, his last run I disregard a little. He was out wide on the track and it was in Doncaster. It's 2 to 1, 15 to 8. I think he'll be classy enough to win it. 2 o'clock is a sprint, 6 furlongs, 18 runners. Only one favourite in the last 10 years. There has been a 28 to 1 shot, a 33 to 1 shot. 11 to 2 last year was Creative Force, who's in the field again. And Glen Shield won the year before at 16 to 1. A 3-year-old won this 3 of the last 10 years, and there's 3-year-olds in the field this year. I'm actually going for a 3-year-old. I'm going for an outsider at 12 to 1. I'm going for Tenebrism for Aidan O'Brien. They're paying 5 places on this, and it's a 12 to 1 shot, and there's 14s in places. But it won first time out over 5 furlongs, was very impressive. Then it was put away all year, and it ran its only time over 6 furlongs and won the Cheverley Park in Newmarket last year. It was campaigned this year. It ran 6 times, 4 over a mile and 2 over 7 furlongs, and it won a Group 1 over 7 furlongs in Longchamp. Good ground, good to soft is good enough. There is a lot of pace in it, so I think this will be closing fast. They've done this a few times in Washington DC and Caravaggio, and a few of them putting the back to 6. They know what they're at. So I thought it was value at 12 to 1 or 14 to 1, paying 5 places. The 240 is the Fillies and Mares, a mile 4, 14 declared. 3 favourites in the last 10 years. Even Magical wasn't favourite, went off a 5 to 1 shot in 2018. Shada last year won it. 7 of the last 8 winners of this has been a 3-year-old. And there's 5 3-year-olds in the field this year. The 3-year-olds gets a valuable £6. Mimikyu, that 3-year-old from John Gosden, he beat a Shada, as I said, who won it the last time. Now, Shada didn't seem to stay at the 1-6. But this horse didn't settle enough in the first part of the race, and it was, I thought it done well to get home over that trip when I hadn't settled because it used up a bit of petrol. Ashada won it last year, but you see, I'm going on the stat that the 3-year-old, 7 of the last winners has been a 3-year-old. So I'm going with that one. Frankie was staying with Emily Upjohn. It was a bit disappointing when it ran last in the King George. That Mimikyu is, I think it's an 8 to 1 shot, a pint each way. For people that mightn't know the way I do things, I do go on trends and stats for all the bigger races, and that's how I pick winners, or try and pick winners anyway. Pick horses, I should have said. The 320 is a mile, 9 declared, 4 favourites in the last 10 years. And Baid wasn't even favourite last year when he won it at 2 to 1. Palace Pier went off 6 to 4 favourite in that. 6 of the last 10 winners, a 3-year-old. There's been 3 French in the last 10 years and 2 Aidan O'Brien trained. The boys in blue haven't won it since 2010 with Poet's Voice. Frankie was in his glory days then. 4 of 9 this year are 3-year-olds. Spiral won a Group 1 in France the last time. But there was a horse rated 114, rated close up. And it's 11 to 10, but it's on the slide. Modern Games for the boys in blue is 3 for 4 at a mile. And the only time it was second was to Baid. He won the Breeders' Cup at a mile last year at one. It hosed up in Woodbine the last time as well. It's rated 121. Inspiral is rated 120 and it's given it £3. So it's £2 wrong. But I'm on Modern Games at 4 to 1. Pint win. The 4 o'clock is a mile 2, 9 declared. 5 favourites in the last 10 years. Seal Away won it last year, a 3-year-old at 12 to 1. 3 3-year-olds have won it in the last 10 years. Baid is rated 135. That'll be the second highest, I think, that'll win that, because when Frankel won it in 2012, it was rated 140. The angle in this race is to do without the favourite and a horse each way. Dubai Honour was second in this last year as a 3-year-old. It's a 4-year-old. The last couple of runs it had was on in Kempton. It looks like it has been campaigned to run in this race again. It's a 40 to 1 shot. Could have a 0.5 each way on it at 40 to 1 and 0.5 each way at 9 to 1 without the favourite. So then when Baid wins, if it's second, third or fourth, you collect on your 9 to 1 each way. The 4 o'clock is the Balmoral Handicap. It's a mile straight, 23 declare. 1 favourite in 8 run-ins of this. That was a 3 to 1 favourite. 4 of the last 8 has been 5-year-olds, 3 4-year-olds, 1 3-year-old. Last year was Aldari for Willie Haggis. I'm on a Haggis horse again this year, first time in a handicapped. Bashkirova. It's Chivalry Park. It's a 4-year-old. It has been running in Group 3s, Group 2s, listed, and it's out of Pivotal. It'll like a bit of cut. The last couple of times it ran was good to Ferrum. I don't think you've seen the best of it, and it is being sort of campaign or left one side to come this time of the year. That is a 9 to 1 shot and 10 to 1 shot in places, and they're paying, I think, 6 places. So pint each way on that. There's 2 other horses. The 315 at Catterick. It's called the Dash, the 5 furlong dash. Count D won this race in 2019 when he would have been a 3-year-old. He's a 6-year-old now, and he was rated 91. In 2020, he was second off 99, and last year, with our 5 to 2 favourite, finished 6th off 97. He's £10 lower this year of 87. He had a nice prep run for this. He was third the last time out. He's a 6 to 1, 13 to 2 shot, and I thought a pint each way on Count Dorsey in the 315 at Catterick. And there's a horse as well that I'm giving another chance to on drier ground in the last race at Leopardstown tomorrow is Flying Dolphin. And that run that's still in Ascot is in the back of my head, and that's the reason I tipped him up in the stole. But the soft ground was against him, I thought, that day. He didn't act on it at all. It's a 14 to 1 shot, and he came into 12s. And I think they're paying 6 places in that. They're definitely paying 5, so pint each way on that. And I meant to have a look at the video of Boot Hill is out tomorrow in a 4-runner chase, but I didn't get a chance to look at the video of the favourite, it's Paul Nicholls' horse. But you know the horse that we backed in the Galway Plate, but the Galway Hurl. It's in a novice chase tomorrow. There's only 4 runners. It's better ground. It's out of Presenton. The better ground will be better for him jumping. But I didn't get a chance to analyse the favourite to see how good it was. Anyway, that's me done and dusted. A bit longer tonight. It'll take longer to get up, but I wanted to do that. Thanks very much for all the likes last night. It's up near 200, I think, which is great, and all the banter and comments. And hope we have a couple of winners tomorrow, and I'll see you tomorrow evening for Sunday. Over and out. Bash the bookies. Fill the wheelbarrows.